Hello again. Today I want to talk to you about another book, not one of my own, but something that I very much enjoyed. Um, it's called Monkey or The Monkey King or Journey to the West, sorry, which is I think its original title by a Chinese man called Wu Cheng'en, if I've said that correctly. I'm not sure if I got that quite right. It's a classic of Chinese literature from, I think, from the 16th century, although the actual story is much, much older than that. That's the first known published version of it. So, I read this a long time ago, and in fact, I think I lent it to somebody and didn't get it back. I forget who I lent it to, which is something I've often done and regretted. But in a way, giving people a book is not the end of the world. If they benefit from it, that's great. But it is nice when people actually bother to return the books they borrowed. Anyway, yes, the story. I first came across this as a child. I think it would have been 1979. There was a Japanese Chinese co-production TV series called Monkey, which was filmed, I think, in '78. Anyway, it was dubbed into English, and I used to come home from school, and as much as possible, I would watch that. Sometimes my dad would put the news on if it was clashing with it. I think it was on sort of around 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. Anyway, I absolutely love this program. The story is basically sticking to sort of the main themes of the book, although somewhat sort of less intellectual. You have a lot of fighting going on. Monkey, who's the great sage equal to heaven, is released from his punishment of offending heaven by being released by the priest Tripitaka from underneath a mountain, which he's been imprisoned in for 500 years, purely so that he can help this young priest Tripitaka to go from China to India to collect the sacred scrolls of the Buddha and bring them back to China. And to do this, the priest also gets the help of a water spirit called Sandy in the program, and a pig spirit called Pigsy in the series. Of course, they had Chinese names which I probably would struggle to pronounce, as I don't really understand anything of either Mandarin or Cantonese. But anyway, that's what they were called. So you've got another character, Dragon, which is transformed into a horse. So, but in the series, the dragon doesn't finch you very much. So it's all about the adventures of these five characters heading off across great distance and encountering dangers. And at the beginning, at the end, you have some Buddhist of commentary, some Buddhist sayings which are sort of slipped in. I mean, at the time, I was about 9 years old, and I wasn't really that interested in the Buddhism aspect of it. I did enjoy watching all the fight scenes and the bit of comedy. In fact, so much so, I used to play in the garden with my, I think, garden rake. One of the characters, Pixie, had a red and silver rake, and the main character, Monkey, had this impressive staff which was black and gold at the ends. But I didn't have a staff, unfortunately, so I just had to pretend to be Pigsy instead, because I did have a garden rake. So I'd run around the garden with that, fighting imaginary demons and foes, just like in the TV program. In fact, a friend of mine, he lent me the box set recently of that series from 1979. And yeah, he'd have been about the same age. And well, I think he's the only other person I know who actually really liked that series that I can think of. And it's quite funny because neither of us were Buddhists. I was brought up in a Roman Catholic household, and he was brought up in a Muslim household, and we both love this program, and even now. Anyway, later on in life, I came across this book, and of course, I remembered it from the series, and it's obviously quite different in some respects. It does have quite a lot of comedy in it, but it's very much a discourse about Buddhism and Taoism, which is obviously the indigenous older religion of China. And the two seem to have merged to quite a large extent. But anyway, it's a very interesting book. So if you ever come across it, I highly recommend reading it. So, and if you get a chance to check out the TV program from 1979, I would definitely watch that. There was a fairly recent remake which I watched, I think, one episode of, and I just thought it was the biggest load of tripe going. So I think that's from 2015 or something like that. I would recommend avoiding that like the plague, because it's not in any way faithful to the original story. So anyway, that's it for today. And yeah, if you get a chance to check out Monkey, hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.